Hello friends, I was led to bring up this video today, and this is something I had been working on that I thought to share. This comes from Genesis chapter 4. And I'd always had wondering about this offering between Cain and Abel and the Lord's response to that. And of course these events that had played out. And so I wish to share something I have learned. So we're going to start here and show that, Eve had given birth to Cain, and then she had given birth to Abel. And it says in 4:2, now Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to the Lord. Abel also brought the firstborn of his flock and of their fat, and the Lord respected Abel and his offering. But he did not respect Cain and his offering, and Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. And we're going to pause there for just a moment. And I was wondering about why the Lord responded in the way that he did in concerns to these two offerings. So we're going to go back a chapter, and I'm going here to 3:17, and this is in reference to what the Lord had spoken to Adam in concerns to what had occurred because they had been misled by the serpent and disobeyed the Lord. Then to Adam he said, because you have heeded the voice of your wife, and have eaten from the tree which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it, cursed is the ground for your sake, and toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of your face you shall eat bread, till you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you shall return. So we're going to pause there. What do you see? This is an effect of the Lord telling them the ground was cursed for their sake because of what had occurred, and toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. What was brought here by Cain was a work of his hands from the ground, essentially an effect of the curse. Now Abel had brought the firstborn of his flock and of their fat, and the Lord respected Abel and his offering. Let's go back again. And so, let's go down here. And in 3:21, also for Adam and his wife, the Lord God made tunics of skin and clothed them. See, previously up here, they had covered themselves in fig leaves when they had realized their nakedness. Here, they had sewn fig leaves together and made themselves coverings. This was not going to be effective. And so the Lord himself made tunics of skin and clothed them. Sacrifice. You see, in the response here, the Lord respected Abel's offering because Abel respected the sacrifice. Cain brought the work of his hands from tilling of the earth, which was in reflection to the curse. So this brings a question to us. What are we bringing in our offerings to the Lord? There's an issue of respect involved in this as well, because it shows here the Lord's respect. But notice in 4:6, so the Lord said to Cain, why are you angry, and why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door, and its desire is for you, but you should rule over it. So it shows here in these verses that the Lord is still extending to Cain to learn of why he responds in this way, to learn of why the Lord had responded the way he had responded. But there is a respect issue, and it's going to continue. Cain was angry. Now Cain talked with Abel, his brother. Now before we go on, I also want to mention, he had shown in 4:7 the instruction. If you do well, will you not be accepted? So if he will receive the instruction, he will be accepted if he will do well. But if you do not do well, sin lies at the door. He's warning. Its desire is for you. It wishes to capture you, but you should rule over it. Sin should not rule over us. We must be stronger than sin. And so, what occurs? Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and killed him. Now we further show Cain's issue of respect. Then the Lord said to Cain, where is Abel your brother? Now, this is one of the verses that's been used loosely by many people all over the world and not even knowing what it means. And he said, I do not know, am I my brother's keeper? People will say this statement often, am I my brother's keeper, without any understanding of where it comes from or what it means. And what it's showing here in Cain's response is a lack of respect. Not only did he have a lack of respect for his brother, but he also had a lack of respect for the Lord, because the Lord already knew the answer to this question when he was talking to Cain. And Cain's response is disrespectful in the Lord's ability and knowledge. He also is lying. He says, I do not know. He does know. And the Lord is very aware of it. And then he makes that comment, am I my brother's keeper? Well, it wasn't his responsibility to take care of his brother. It seemed as though Abel was doing just fine, doing his own thing for the Lord. So what is this statement? It's basically a disrespectful statement to the Lord. And then the Lord, of course, responds, what have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. And then he goes on to declare the next stage of the curse, because Cain had been overcome by sin. And so this was something that I wondered about, but it makes sense to see that the Lord was showing an issue of respect being involved here. And so that's what we need to look at as well. Do we respect the Lord? Now, he does say for us to bring our burdens to him, and the tilling of the ground was a part of the burden that was put upon the earth, the curse that had come. But when we make our offerings, are we coming to the Lord in respect? Are we coming to the Lord in appreciation for his sacrifice and his many sacrifices that have been made for us? For him to have a relationship with us, he shows that sacrifice. It was a part of this. He sacrificed his life. And even from the beginning, he shows sacrifice from this, and that he clothed them with the hides. He also has taught us throughout the word that sacrifice is a part of a relationship. And we can understand this because there are times that for our relationship, we may make sacrifices because we care more for the relationship than monetary things. Or are we coming to the Lord in an accusing way? Look at the burdens upon me. Look what I have to do. This is the work of my hands. This is a difference in approach. What is our attitude? The Lord will help us through our burdens. And if you consider, he has said, bring your burdens to me. But in our burdens, our challenges and our struggles of life, they are meant to keep us close to the Lord, that we may receive our comfort from him. For as it says in the New Testament as well, that the Lord is our strength. For in our weakness he is made strong. How is this so? For we seek the Lord's strength. He is our strength. And so when we approach the Lord, are we approaching in a way that is of respect? Respect the Lord, respect what he has done, and then we learn. If we are facing an issue of correction, are we going to take the approach of respecting what the Lord is wanting to show us and teach us and mold with us? Or are we going to take the position of disrespect and instead speak against his knowledge and his awareness and his presence? And that was an issue of what went on with Cain. It is a sad situation concerning what occurred here, but it's given to us in a record, in a lesson, that we might respect the Lord in his way, that we may learn of the Lord in his way, and that we may grow with the Lord in his way of life. May you remember, you are loved.